Hello everyone and welcome back to Mrs. Richie Crochets. Today I'm going to show you how to make a couple different types of bows. I am using Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Bon Bon Print. I am using a 5.5mm hook, which is what the yarn calls for. If you're making these bows for your hair, you're going to want to get some alligator clips. You can find them in any craft store and they're pretty cheap. Let's get started. I'm going to start with a chain of 25. So we need to make a slip knot. I'm going to make the yarn face me, go away from my body, hold it with my hook hand, take the yarn, wrap it over the hook, grab the loop with my fingers and rotate the hook down and pull through, and then pull tight. That is a slip knot. Pull some yarn out. Now I'm going to start with a chain. So yarn over, rotate your hook down, pull through, yarn over, rotate your hook down, pull through, yarn over, rotate your hook down, pull through. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, that is our chain 25. This bow that I'm making is, the first one is a very small bow. So next I'm going to do single crochets. So we're not going to be yarning over. We're going to be going into the second stitch from the hook. So the hook is in this stitch right here, and you can see the yarn moving in and out of it. So we're going to go into this one right here. So I'm going to put my finger there, put the hook head into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're just going to do the single crochet all the way down. So yarn over and go into the stitch, pull through 2. Into the stitch, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, pull through 2. Into the stitch, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, pull through, and just all the way down. I'm going to finish this off camera and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, I finished, and as you can see, my yarn has gotten a little swirly, so just going to stretch that out. Perfectly normal. Once you add some water to it or steam it, it will stay in place like you want it to. Then I'm going to chain 1, which is just yarning over and pulling through. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of a tail and cut my yarn. The next step is to sew in all of your ends. So I threaded my needle and I'm just going to weave the ends back and forth into the stitches I've already created so that they're not all on, one side. This is what it looks like on the front. This is what it looks like on the back. You can see it in a couple of small places, and then pull through one way. Come on, little guy. Okay, and then go back the opposite direction. Skipping where I came out of, I'm going to go just a little bit farther forward. If not, you can pull your stitches right out. And right about there looks good to me. So I pulled that out. Now I'm going to grab my scissors, trim the rest of the yarn, and do the same thing with the other tail. So I have the tails sewn in. Now I'm going to shape the bow. If this was a chain, just the regular chain that we started out at the beginning, and we didn't add the the first row of single crochets, you could just tie it like a bow, and you could do this, just laying it flat over each other. At the very end of it, you wrap it around, and then go through, grab each side, and then just do a little shaping. This isn't the look I'm going for, but if it was just a chain, this would be much flatter and easier to work with of this size. You can make this starting out with a chain of 50 and do it that way. I only did 25, so this is just a length that I wanted this to be. What I am going to do is fold it in half to see about where the center is, and then I'm going to make a little loop on each side, and I'm going to cross over the tails. It takes some maneuvering to hold it like this. I'm going to take some more yarn, and I'm going to pull this tail out a little bit so I can use it at the end. And I crossed it over like that for me to just be able to hold on to it better. And I'm going to pull tight when I'm doing this. I'm going to stop here. I wrapped a couple of times, do some shaping, see what it looks like. Make sure the ends are even. Okay, and I like that, so I'm going to keep going until I think that that is the right thickness for this. It's just whatever you prefer. And I like that. So I am going to trim the tail and flip it over to what I'm going to call the backside. Well, it really is the backside. Let me tilt my camera down, and just holding it down, I'm going to just try a regular knot. And I'm going to do that really tight. Just like that. Then I'm going to trim the edges, and then you have a little baby bow. This could be for a little kid, for your hair, could be a clip for your bag. Then you just take the alligator clip, go through just a couple pieces of yarn. You don't want it too thick. So I'm just going through the outside 2 pieces. Come on, go in there. There we go, perfect. And just moving it to wherever hides it best. And then the other side, you just clip your hair in there, and you're done with this bow. Now I'm going to start on the second bow. So I am going to chain 50. So again, slip knot, going around, pulling tight, yarn over, pull through for your chain. That's 8 off camera for the rest of them. So I chained 50. Now I'm going to connect where I'm at to my first stitch. So I'm going to go into the first stitch. This right here kind of looks like the first stitch, but that's the slip knot, so you can't go into that. So you're going to go into the first stitch that you see, like the V, the chain, and go into that stitch, yarn over, and pull through everything. So another slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to do single crochets all the way around. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, drop a loop. There's 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Just all the way around. All the way until I get back here to the first part, and you can tell the difference between the two. I'm going to go around and I'll show you how to connect them again. I also wanted to mention, make sure you're keeping your stitches straight and not twisted up, because then this won't sit flat. It's kind of difficult to do. You just have to check it every once in a while and make sure that it's not twisting up. So I just went into the last stitch. I'm going to slip stitch into this stitch right here, which is starting to come up on a curve. So I'm going to go into that, yarn over, pull through everything, and I'm going to chain 1 again, and go around the circle again. Make sure that you are going into the V-shaped stitches, not the one loop bottom section. So now you don't have to keep your chain straight, you just need to make sure you're going into the V stitches, because if you flip it over, it's going to look wonky donkey. So I'm going to go through and do 2 more rows. I'll go through and do 2 more rows and meet you back here. Make sure you slip stitch to connect and then chain 1 to start. An update on what it looks like now after 2 more rows. I'm going to do another 2 rows and then show you what it looks like. After 2 more rows, update. You can start to see the vision a little bit. This bow is going to be huge. If you squeeze it down in the middle, you can see it's starting to form a bow a little bit. I'm going to do 4 more rows this time, and then I'll show you what my next update is. 4 rows finished. This makes 7 total. I'm going to go ahead and do 4 more. Okay, I finished the last 4 rows, and this makes 11 total, and I think this is good. So I took my hook out and just pulled the loop to make it longer. And now I'm going to do some shaping of the bow. So first I'm going to stretch my stitches out a little bit, and I moved, I want this to be in the middle. So what I am going to do is fold this in half, lining that up in the middle. Perfect. So I know that where my yarn is coming out is the middle of my bow. I am going to put, I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, and I am not going to sew that in. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to place the working yarn around the bow, but first I'm going to shape it. So I want this to be my front side. I'm going to fold it in half backwards, and then I'm going to fold the front 2 sides forward, and I'm going to pinch it in one of my hands. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to make the tail of the yarn go to the back, this one and this one, and I'm going to start wrapping it around really tight. Try not to get those yarn tails in the way, and wrap it around tight. Okay, that was a couple of times, so now I'm going to look and see, is this even? Fold this in half, look at it from this way. Just do a little shaping if it needs it. You can pull it over, pull some more out on this side. What do we think? I think that it needs to be over to the right just a hair. So I'm going to start wrapping it around the right side and see if that evens it out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think that does it. So I'm going to pull tight with my yarn again, and I'm going to leave this piece that was my tail that I started with crocheting. I'm going to leave that over there, and I'm going to pull really tight and tie this just in a regular knot on the back side of the bow. Just like that, and turn my threads. I'm not going to sew in the ends. You're not going to be able to see this. Cut, goes over there. I am going to sew in this tail right here. And I'm just going to go one direction and cut it. Okay, so I have this. That's so cute. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the ends of the bow. And you can still do a lot of shaping after this. I am going to steam it so it will look a little different after that, but you can do a lot of shaping in this position. Some people make their bows with the yarn going over like this. I'm going to crochet the tails and make the tail go across where all this yarn is, so you're not going to be able to see this yarn, but I wanted it to be pulled tight so that I didn't have to pull my crochet pieces so tight, so it can hold this pretty bow shape without having to pull this crochet piece really, really tight. So I'm going to move that aside, and we're going to start with another chain of 50. I have my chain of 50, so now I'm going to do 3 rows of single crochet. So going into the second stitch and doing a single crochet. I will go all the way down to the end of the row, go into the very last stitch, keeping my stitches straight, go into the very last stitch, which is this one right here, not this knot. This is the last stitch. Go into this one, chain 1, flip my work around, and continue down. I'll do 3 rows and then I'll show you what I have. I have 3 rows done. I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more. I finished that 6th row. So now I'm going to cut my yarn, pull my ends through, and this guy just wants to be really, really curly. So stretch all of my stitches out, and I'm going to sew in my ends. So I'm going to go one direction, just going in, out, back and forth, just like that. Pull, 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 and then go this opposite direction, just grabbing, trying to go in the middle of the stitch, and pull out. Grab my scissors, trim it up, put my tail over there, do the same thing with this side. Okay, now we're going to put it together. I originally said I wanted this side to be the front, but I changed my mind and I'm going to make this side the front. But it doesn't matter because we're covering up that knot anyways. So first thing I'm going to do is take this, fold it in half, see where my middle is. So right there, I'm going to put that right on the middle of my bow. I'm going to wrap it around and I'm going to put my bow onto the table. I'm going to tie a loop and I'm going to pull pretty tight. I'm going to move that loop down, see if my tails are even. Pull. And then we have a big old bow. How cutesy is this? It needs some shaping, some steam, and pulling on these ends will help it from stop rolling, but they are the same length, and this is what it looks like laying flat. So it's super cute. I love this. How fun. Okay, I'm going to show you the last bow I wanted to do today. So I have just a regular granny square. If you don't know how to make one of these, go watch my granny square video. You're going to fold it down, making sure you're right on the center, where your thumb is, right on the center, and just keep like doing a zigzag pattern of folding. And then you're going to take your yarn, whatever color you would like to use, and start wrapping it around the center of that. And if you didn't get it in the right spot, you don't like how it looks, just start over. It's okay. But as always, you can tweak it a little bit once you get it started. So, what do I think about this? Yes, that's cute. Okay, so I'm going to make sure my tail is still sticking out. And I'm going to pull tight and go a little bit longer. Pull the other tail tight. That moved quite a bit, actually. I'm going to grab that tail and hold it with my hands so that it stays out of my way. However much yarn you want to use is up to you. I wanted to go for a thicker knot, and I like how that looks. So I'm going to flip it upside down and tie this off. And then cut my ends. Throw my tail over there. And how adorable. That is so cute. Again, shaping with steaming, or you can also put this underwater. Cold, hot water, doesn't matter. And then just lay it flat and it will stiffen out and like reshape itself a little bit. But here are all the bows we made today. How cute! Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.